Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, and welcome back to another episode of taking you on the path of da'wah. May Allah make you the best da'iyah, ameen, inshallah. Now, you've been promoted, congratulations, you're in the hood now, man. But this one is the best hood ever, it's the Brotherhood. Or sisterhood, you gotta be politically correct in either or. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in so many verses, Prophet ﷺ mentioned the reward in abundance and then the hereafter, and you know what, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised and you're gonna do your best to make sure that you're on this posse. Okay, then we talk about that brotherhood. In the end, we're gonna talk about the reward, inshallah, is to get you back on. And of course, you'll know that there's a certain attributes that you have to attain to be happy in this life and happy in hereafter. And also are some negative stuff that we're going to stay away from. And as you will see on this path of da'wah, inshallah, you need to have this bond. And the bond, and our teachers told us that, is after you finish your schooling, after you finish even online stuff, whatever it is, you still have the brotherhood that held you together, which is seeking knowledge, which is the banner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, as you will talk about it a little bit later when it comes to brotherhood. So let us go through the list, inshallah, as it comes your way. Here we go. Drum roll one more time. Take it away, Mr. whatever it is. Number one, this ummah, believe it or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is built upon that. Ummah, by the way, ummah, you know what that means? It comes from mother, subhanallah. It's derived from that. We all come from Adam and Eve, man. So we're all brothers and sisters in humanity, but indeed we have such a strong bond. And that's why number one is this ummah, the ukhuwah wa salah, is mabadi al-Islam. It's among the pillars of Islam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us actually about the past and where we come from, the difference between the dark ages, the pre-Islamic ignorant era, to the beauty of the light of Islam, the one that united us all. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding even the Aws wal Khazraj, the Muhajirin wal Ansar. You'll see what it is. He said, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. Remember the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. You were enemies. Actually, as a matter of fact, that's the business. They used to actually have these people fighting each other to take from this, take from that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned these enemies into brothers. It's amazing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes heart just like that. By the blessing of Allah, turned into brothers. It is true that you will know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned this ummah around. Akhi and ukhti, testifies that history itself will testify for this, that no other migration on the face of the earth that took place with bloodshed except one. There is no bloodshed in the migration when that Mecca and Medina. As a matter of fact, it happened. They opened arms, ahlan wa sahlan, family and friends. And what did they do? You know what they did? Come on down. They actually opened up their house. Says, this is my house, take half. This is my wealth, take half. This is my business, take half. This is my... I'm going to stop here. So we're going to need politically correct and sensitive. But remember, just in case it goes in the back of your mind, let me explain. The scholar tells this is a Sahabi talking to a Sahabi. This is a companion talking to another companion. May Allah be pleased with all of them. They knew, they offered everything they had, including that. But they knew that the Arabs were very generous and they also were very jealous. But of course, he was not going to take it. Remember, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu says, Barakallahu fika wa ahlika wa malik. May Allah bless you, your family, health and wealth. Show me the marketplace, man. Just show me where that is. And that's what it was. And this one it started, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. So you'll know that the brotherhood, you understand, my dear brother, the second one actually emphasizes that. Number two in the row is actually where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the brotherhood is built upon what? From the same father? No. We said another mother from another brother? No. We said the sister from another mister? Correct. That is the one. We're talking about إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Very true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the brotherhood built upon Imān, not a mother and a father and so on. La wallahi. He says the best of that ukhuwah is mentioned in the Quran is about إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Indeed, the true brethren is that one that built upon faith. So I don't love you because you have a job. as you will see that's coming up and so on. No, I love you because you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You follow the sunnah of Rasulullah. So regardless of what color your skin, regardless of what language you speak, regardless of where you come from, what country you come, no matter what, man, I love you for the sake of Allah, because you have that banner of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah that rules your life. We have the same qibla, the same book, the same prophet, the same God, the same aqeedah, the same belief, the same everything. So I love you for that. But my dear brothers and sisters, I want the brothers to tell you, the brothers, as you'll see, I love you, but the brother cannot go to another man. I love you, my sister in Islam. No, thanks for winning. Thanks for coming out. Let's come back to this real life. Another one is this ukhuwah is built upon faith. Another one says you cannot build this ukhuwah on the worldly material, worldly affairs. As I mentioned earlier, alluded to it, you cannot love everyone because he has a job to give you, or he has a nice, good-looking daughter that he wants to marry, or any of that stuff. So the built on this brotherhood, my dear brothers and sisters, has to be built on the faith, built on that, because that's the solid foundation, my dear brothers and sisters. So it's not the worldly affairs, worldly means, is nothing, because you will see the reward a little bit later on. If we have that love for each other, what is it built upon? And also that the foundation could be solid, it could be broken. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. So help one another in doing righteous deeds. Don't help one another in doing evil deeds. You can't tell me, listen, man, I love you. Dude, you're my brother. Sure. Can you help me rob this bank? Yeah, I love you, but I don't know you. Loser. You want some money? You know what? If my brother, did you know that story when the man says, if you my brother, would you put your pocket in you put your hand in my pocket? He says, no. He says, no, you're not my brother. But if you live in New York, especially, people do this professionally now. You understand? So you have to be smart. It's not kies oten. A true believer is smart, intellectual, calm, collect, cool, not taken for granted, and so on. So we have to obviously put a little bit of disclaimer on that one, especially nowadays, right? Okay. So this is the build is upon it. We are helping one another and doing righteous deeds. I'm brother in that. If you tell me something else, not because you're a Muslim, not because you're a believer, I'm going to help you doing something else or lie or belittle. It's among the signs of times, by the way. Speaking of time, moving on. Because number 5, it comes in. He says, that when you see somebody, have you ever done that? Have you ever gone into a masjid and you've seen someone that you've never seen before, and all of a sudden says, I love this guy. I love this guy. Who is this guy? I love this guy. Give me some loving, man. Give me a group hug. Come on. All right. Too far? Okay, cool. But this is true because Prophet Muhammad says, Al-arwahu junudun mujannada ma ta'araf minha i'talaf wa ma tanakar minha ikhtalaf. These spirits is like brotherhood, man. If you have this common, you have this bond together. But if you don't have it, you're either like a magnet or a positive and negative, and both negatives. You're repelled from each other. So if you know somebody that you love and you look at him and go, Subhanallah, Ajib, I don't know this man, but I love him. Because it's true. I feel the bond. I feel the love. I feel. Okay. I said, I don't do drugs, wallahi. I'm just affirming this fact. I kind of stop sniffing glue though, however. It's probably cheaper that way. Moving on the list. Number 6 coming down. And it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inna min ibad unas. Subhanallah. This one is a beautiful one. Where Prophet Muhammad is giving you something that you can live and die by, man. He says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Judgment Day will actually have specific people. He says, Laysu anbiya wala shuhada. They're not prophets and messengers. They're not even martyrs. But yaghbituhum al-anbiya wa shuhada. You know what that means? Even prophets and messengers will actually feel envious in a positive way, not jealous in a negative way. They want this to go away from them. No, they want to be like them. Could you imagine being better than prophets and messengers? Prophets and messengers would want to be like you, would actually do whatever it takes to be like you. And who's that? That's you. Who's you? That's you. Could you imagine you being that, ukhti? Can you imagine being that? On Judgment Day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrects you at pulpits of light. Ya salam. Your face is lit according to hadith. It says your face is lit, man. And what is the deal? It is because you love each other for the sake of Allah. He says prophets and messengers would want to be like you. Yes, indeed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالشُّهَدَاء بِمَكَانَتُهُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ, because they're close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, have you not told us about him? Tell us, Ya Rasulullah. Who they want? Because they want to do it. So you want to know what it is? Of course you want to know what it is. I want to know what it is. So we need to go over there to know what it is. Taxi, I'm coming your way. He said, the Prophet Muhammad says, their face will be like lit like nur. Because they have loved each other. وَلَا أَرْحَامَ بَيْنَهُم. They don't come from another brother, from another mother, sister, from another mister, same, different father, different mother, man. There's no arham. They're not next of kin. And they don't deal in money. They don't deal in the business. But they love each other for the sake of Allah. Their face is lit. Could you imagine? And no bills are coming. No electricity bill. But just so much noor, man. You know what? When people see you, they will wear some glasses. Sunglasses, that is. You know why? Because when you're cool, the sun always shines, even in nighttime. So we're talking about this type of nur, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was resting on pulpits of light, and then he recited this verse. What verse is that? The verse is in the Quran where it says, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Ya salam. Let's go into this one just a bit. Awliya, al-awliya Allah, the close company. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you think it's too high to attain? It's not too high to attain, man. Here's الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who believe, but they have taqwa. Yeah, subhanallah. So if you want to be among them, here you go. And what is the attribute? It says, لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Let me ask you a question. Or let me ask you a question. I've just been around. I know what the language is. Cool. Whatever it is that you want to go, let me ask you this question. You know, what are you afraid of? Most of us are afraid of what's coming in the future. So you're afraid of the future. What are you saddened about? You're saddened about the past, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you love each other for the sake of Allah, لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. You're not afraid of the future, what's coming up on Judgment Day, you'll be safe, man. You're chilling, everybody's going, but you're going, and now, yahzanun, in the past, you know, you've done some bad stuff, man. You've been around the thing, around the block, and all of a sudden you're coming back. I've seen the light, you're healed. You come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not going to be saddened about the past, because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you. So if you want on this path of da'wah, don't be afraid from the future. Don't worry about the past, because the past is past. And the prison is a gift as a prison, and the future is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who love each other for the sake of Allah. I will continue this list next time, inshallah. I will see you then. Jazakumullah anna khaira. Don't forget to dua. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.